Welcome to the second ever Orkney Live Wire podcast with me, Christian Cooper.
Me, Claire Ross.
Me, Scott McCormick.
And also tonight in the studio we also have two of members of Bigsy Whalps. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello guys, it's Roger Robson here.
Hi, it's Mitchell Robson here.
Grant.
We'll be having a yarn about some of the festive gigs that was over the last month or so.
We'll also have a couple of interviews that we did over the festive season. We'll fit in possibly some rum ham, a little bit of Acoustic Mother.
We'll have a couple of tracks from the Bigsy Whalps and the Andy Taylor group. And we'll be hearing about Making Noise for Suicide, a gig being put on in the Neuk to raise awareness for depression in Orkney.
So what were you up to over the festive season? You catch any gigs, Scott?
Yeah, I did a couple of sound gigs. I did the Tribe in the Torvogue, which was pretty good. These guys here, of course. Absolutely brilliant. It's pretty busy. There's a lot of folk in, a lot of drunk folk in, including me, yes.
I seem to remember you were the most drunk of the lot.
I went and did the sound for Constant Party and Rum Ham, who were supported by Drones, who we had on in an interview last time. And I was actually blown away by how good they were.
They were absolutely fantastic.
Bury, was it?
I was in the Motorhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first night that the Drones played, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there the second night as well. I wasn't doing sound that night, but
Yeah.
that was when Acoustic Mother played. That was really good as well.
Yeah, I was at that gig. I was absolutely amazed by the Drones. I loved the mix of music that they played. It was a lot of the 90s grunge, and they did a lot of Radiohead. And yeah, my favourite thing that they did, they played the Long Pigs. And I absolutely loved the Long Pigs. 20 years ago I went to go and see them, so I've never ever heard anybody else play them at a gig before. So I was clean excited by that. I think I was jumping up and down clapping at the end of the songs.
And on that note, Orkney Live Wire's very own Smid Perry caught up with a fairly half-cut Rum Ham after their gig in the Motorhouse. Here he is.
How did you start and what brought you together as a band?
We started off as a Foo Fighters tribute band called the Flute Fighters, because Connor and Ewan were in a band called the Magic Flutes, and me and Marcus were looking to make some music, so we thought, well, we'll do that. And we thought, actually, we're good, so we thought we'd make our own songs, and it kind of stemmed from there.
So, what is your favourite track that you play or played?
But I've been looking forward to playing a song that Caleb wrote called Into the Wild for quite some time.
Another one.
What he wrote about one of his favourite films. Is it one of your favourite films?
Yeah, sure.
What do you have planned for the future? Any up and coming events?
We've just got one more tomorrow night. I assume that gig will have been played by the time this is released. But I think there's just some more recording. We've got quite a few ideas for songs, some originals.
Or tomorrow night, you read
Maybe.
that. You play the song, right?
Did you hear what I just said?
No. Read that one again then, please.
Said, we're playing tomorrow night, but by the time this airs, that gig will have probably happened.
Alright, yeah.
He did actually.
Ryan Tulloch, lead bass, Constant Party and Chug.
So, well, for you, Caleb, who taught you and how did you learn to play?
Ryan
Taught me
Tulloch
sell.
and fucking slowly. We laughed here, boys. You laugh.
Drops the mic and leaves.
You're going to have to leave some of this in.
I learned everything from the street.
From the street.
Sesame Street.
Brilliant.
No, I taught myself.
Taught yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Can you tell?
What's your influences?
Bad Dog and Biscuit. Big Muff. Ammunition. Feedback. Ringo Starr.
You've not named one of my bands yet.
Well, you can name yours now. Dolly Parton.
Well, you can answer the same question,
No.
Marcus.
Showcase J.
Thank you. Just get
They're
one
pretty
in.
good. Yeah, that's about it.
What would be the song that makes you have a sneaky dance when no one is looking?
Come on, Eileen, and I will dance when everyone is looking. Right, that's the best song ever.
That's not a song, Caleb, that's a hobby.
Fair play. And or We Built This City, my starship. Me and Muri's favourite song. We're gonna have it played at our wedding.
Our wedding!
So how did you get started into performing music, like?
Music.
School, probably, I guess. And in bands, like battle of bands in school, like, was the first thing I ever played at. Me and William Mills and Derek Ward. 3-piece.
Is that the band?
That was it, yeah. Wardy, yeah, honestly, on the tins.
Fucking unbelievable musician
See you later.
and knowing any band. No, I mind him at Michael Smith's leaving doing it was one of the most surprising sights I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
If you could gig with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ewan Coulter.
Did in my mind.
Don't know, Stevie Wonder,
Why?
because he's the best.
As a band, what is your opinion these days of the music scene in Orkney?
Don't know, I'm kind of out the loop a bit, so I'm not really... I was speaking to
Yeah, let's see with these days.
Ian Farker, and he was saying that it's booming, but... don't know. What do you think? You're here. Will's in like every band in Orkney, so he'll cane.
That's great. Every band I'm in is banging, like.
So every band is banging then?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it's better than it was. Certainly.
Well,
It dipped for a while there.
tonight.
Had the young folk in tonight to start with.
Yeah, to begin with.
Yeah. But there's not very many like young bands.
The young folk.
The young folk.
Suffering from
Oh,
They
drones.
get
Sorry.
big, like-
Yeah, there was drones.
We had the drones.
You interviewed them on your last podcast. They were like 16, 13? If that, 15, 13. So
Right. Do you know what age
It's just
bit
like-
mean? It doesn't matter
it
about
doesn't
the
matter,
age.
but it's just like it's good to see actually people like that age
Like,
wanting to get out and about. And
Yeah,
playing.
like you said
You know?
earlier on the night, like there's a good number of bands about. There's a good number of bands about, but there's a slight bit of concern that maybe there's no so many younger folk playing,
Yeah.
and that's a pretty bit worrying. Like, you know, we get too worried about it, but there is a good number of bands playing at the moment, and there's new bands popping up. It's all maybe the same kind of folk that have played about for a few years, but it would be good to see a lot of like young folk.
Will makes a good point there though. Like there's not very many young folk playing, and I'm the youngest one in this band, and I had fuck all playing the night.
No,
No,
visible
the
playing.
most soberest one in this band too.
There could be hundreds of young folk playing, but they're maybe not playing in public.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference.
That's something that
It's
would
fine.
need to be team
Yeah, it's find the time to get together and form something, and find time to practice, and then bring that out to public. There's a big difference between playing in the bedroom and actually like getting somebody together and playing in public. So
I mind in school there was about
today.
at least 6 bands per well, and then about the same for Strumness.
you need.
When we were like aged like 13 to 18.
Well,
It's
there was
not-
loads of things for us to get excited about though.
It's not necessarily
bands.
confidence; it's opportunity.
An opportunity.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a big problem. As like you can have all the, as you so eloquently put it, balls that you want, but if you've got no opportunity, then
that's
I mean, if you're under 18, where are you going to play?
in the pubs.
Legally.
Legally. The licensing allows.
I know, but it's not the first place you're going to look, is it? You know, if you're 16, you think, right, let's go and play in
but your
Scotland.
pals can't come to see you.
And exactly. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
You've
say
really
you're
raised a
booking
hell of a good
bands.
point there.
Say you're booking bands and going right. Okay, I'm going to put on a night of music. I want a young band, but I've never heard them. You can just book some band that because they're young, or are you going to actually
we used to play, like,
get a chance to hear them play?
Matches, Cavern.
Not sponsored, but
Fusion,
the Cavern Youth Club.
Cavern
It's
Youth
a
Club.
cracking place to go to.
You know, there was all these places that were available to us, and half the time we just did it ourselves, and we would get a bit of help for somebody doing sound. But yeah, I don't think there's any of that at the moment. I think the ones that are playing are the ones that are older.
Yeah. What annoys you the most when you're gigging?
Connor.
To be fair, that's actually a fair comment. That's
Blazing folk, stumbling, over the monitor and knocking your mic stand over.
Corner.
Seeking folk stealing your glasses.
Seeking folk stealing your glasses, yeah.
Gay seeking, yeah. Totes.
Preach.
And I think the worst thing is actually one more tune.
One more tune.
That needs
Go
to
one more, or
that
no?
needs to go.
Really?
Yeah,
Go one more.
Well, you should just say that
I hate
we're gonna finish up now
Why?
and then play two more.
We did that the other night.
Were
Like
you
Sands, we did
were you
that. I
listening
was there.
tonight?
I came and you were like, one more tune. I was like,
Because you have to ask for one more. It's like a fucking.
Literally have no more
We
tunes.
have
One more
loved you so much. We want one more tune for you before you
it's
go.
never just one though, is it?
We'll keep them playing.
Well, that depends
Who's
on
going
the
to have
band.
the and take it with you?
Some of the band.
On then.
But that's really fucking.
But no, Connor mainly.
Yeah.
But one more tune, really.
It's like Ganu.
That's like
Annoys me.
gratefulness.
It's like
I feel really bad when I'm like no, and I put the guitar down, and then they're just like.
And going, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
And if they did that, then that would be cool. But
And then you'd play one.
I would do one more tune if they did that, like the Alice Cooper thing in Wayne's World.
Right, so now we have to teach folk today we're not worthy, and you'll play one more tune.
10 more.
Worship Caleb.
We need to start doing that. People, listen to that. You have to start doing that. We're not worthy. So, on a personal note, you've been playing for a few years now. Do you get pre-gig nerves?
Yeah, flat out the whole time. I don't think I'll ever go. Just anxious, really. Depends. When you play around like Motorhouse and stuff, it's quite good because you're that familiar with it. But like tomorrow night, certainly we're playing in Sound Archive, and I think before it I'll be a bit quite jittery. Definitely new surroundings and all.
I get mid gig nerves is when I realise like
That you're on
the first 5 songs I've
fucking hell, where am I at?
not far off, and that I just don't really ken what I've done yet.
Your glasses get the smoke with them.
Yeah, that's it. Try to get at this time of year. Try to get the full with your glasses. Takes at least 5 or 6 songs. By that time you could be anywhere.
Standing next to you wearing the same glasses.
Yeah.
Right,
There was a 15-year-old.
I'm gonna have to finish this up with what's your favourite Christmas song? Because it is Christmas time at the moment.
Shatton Stevens.
See, I'm controversial. Like the film Charlie Brown's Peanuts, the soundtrack to that Christmas movie, it's quite good.
Yeah.
Vince Guaraldi trio. A Peanuts Christmas.
That's the most bullshit answer I've ever heard
A lot of jazz and
in my entire life.
What you got, William? Caleb wouldn't
I
understand.
don't know if I have one. Probably that one. I don't know the name of it. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Who's it gone then, Dino? Bad yourself.
Christmas rapping.
Is that what it's called?
That's one of my
Yeah, that
favourite ones
one.
as well.
Fairy Tale New York and fuck off. That shit. I'll take Christmas rap. Is that what it's called?
Christmas
Who
rapping
does
by. You okay? It's on my phone. I'll show you. Mine's is probably Paul McCartney
Oh, shocker.
and Shakin' Stevens. And that one it's not a Christmas song, but they made it a Christmas song. It's about the cavalry, you know.
Oh yeah.
Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum, dum-ba-dum-ba-dum, dum-ba-dum-dum. Belt.
That's a total sex music.
Absolute belt.
They're all wank.
D-Sleep.
And Killing in the Name. Christmas number 1.
It was
It was a Christmas number one.
Fucking best Christmas number 1.
Mad World. Fuck you.
That must be.
You gotta find that on your phone.
What's your favourite Christmas song?
The
I'm just
name
gonna
of it.
list loads of Christmas songs that I kind of like.
It was like a,
That's me
it was
answer.
Like nearly a bird's name.
Nah, it's got a shit name.
It's like a bird's name.
What's your hand
The
back?
Waitresses.
Merry Christmas.
Who's it gone there, Dane? Bad yourself. Yeah.
Why you got a bandage on your hand?
Wanking.
Masturbating injury.
I would have said friction burns.
Yeah. I
A burn and Cody sketching me.
spilt. I spilt boiling water on it last night, cleaning
And you
a shaker tub.
You still played tonight.
But it actually looks a lot worse than it is. The burn's only doing there.
Folk have pulled out of playing for less.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
Got
Got
them
an
elbow.
electric mother have, that's for sure.
That'll have to be edited.
Nah, staying in.
That was for Marcus Cordick.
Fuck you, electric mother! On the gum jam!
You gotta cut that in totally flat, no laughing, just like. Sorry, let the mother have.
That's it. Wow.
Just leave it at that because you're still recording.
I'm gonna leave you a trap by electric mother.
This has been definitely the
How have you enjoyed your interview?
the funniest podcast interview, whatever.
It's been the highlight of the last 3.5 hours.
You put some sound effects in.
Definitely.
It's definitely the best thing we've done tonight.
We're a lot better at this than we are at playing,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
God bless us.
Yeah, I caught the drones before Electric, Acoustic Mother on the Friday night between Christmas and New Year, and I was, I thought it was a really mature set, probably because it's my.
It was our era, yeah.
It's
It was a lot of Nirvana and Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains sort of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, and sort of Muse first album and stuff like that. So.
I thought back to when I was that age. It was like, what are they?
What, 2?
What were they, like 15, maybe younger, 14, 13, that kind of age?
What, the drones?
Yeah.
Yes, the drones were, one was 13, another 16, I think.
'Cause I remember being that age and I was doing not Fusion. It was Battle of the Bands in school, that would have been, in KGS.
Yeah.
And like, we were crap compared to that. Like,
I know, they're both seriously talented folks. So.
Yeah, something to look out for there in the future. What age were you guys when you were playing? Started playing?
When we started playing, Mitch was actually 15, we know Mitch.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was younger than that.
Were you younger than that?
13,
Well,
14.
when we actually started playing live.
Well, I suppose,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Practicing with 13 or 14 and that been.
Yeah, I would have been 16. It was 1981, I think, our first gig. I'm showing our age now. Yeah.
A while ago.
It was at St Magnus Hall we played in, first gig.
Oh.
Yeah, no alcohol.
Temperance movement.
Hardly that old, I'm trying to say here, but yeah. That was good fun at the time. It was just
I think we were
different days.
listening outside the St Magnus Hall, mind, and we heard the group The Movies playing. And as soon as we heard that, we thought that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's
we're
right.
going to play.
I mind
And we
that, yeah.
got ourselves guitars and started for that day on. It'd been about 1980 or something. I think, when we-
It was actually about 6 months before we first. We had guitars, but we had got all the gear in to play live.
Yeah.
It was Mike McDonald, my bass pal at the time. It was the three of us, so he decided he'd be the drummer.
Yes.
And that we just put a band together, and that's how it started.
That's right.
So it was influenced by Simon Shergoin from
That's
the
right.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Did you get to see any other gigs over the festive season? Or?
I think we saw it wasn't a Rum Hammett's Constant Party at the Sands, because we were actually playing before them. We did the warm up for them.
That was a good gig
And they
as
were
well.
brilliant.
good,
Yeah,
yes,
it just really knocked them out.
I was driving, but it didn't stop me enjoying it. It was still good fun. So.
It was just jumping.
Yeah, brilliant by the end of the night. And when you've got folk crowd surfing in somewhere like the Sands, it's quite interesting. So.
It's the kind of thing that can only happen in the Sands.
It seems to be just boxing night out there. Seems to be, I don't know what happens if the switch gets flicked. And
I think I was standing at the one PA speaker and some sort he'd reckon I shouldn't have been there, just right there, feet away. God.
another thing.
Is that why I get a sore head the day after a gig? I'm not figured that out.
Nothing to do with the alcohol.
No,
groups. No. Yeah, I went to go and see the Rumham and Wayward gig as well. I think you were at it, Christian, as well. What did you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I wasn't out that much over the holidays, but I tried to cram in 5 bands that night.
And I was the same. Yeah,
So
it was brilliant. It was really good.
Wayward, when I interviewed them before the festive season, they said they were going to try some Motown, and I was looking forward to that. Zelsa absolutely nailed Aretha Franklin. It was unreal. I think that was sort of my highlight of that gig. She's got some voice.
Yeah, this was really, really good. I like the mix that they do as well. It gets everybody up on the floor.
Yeah. and there was a small but appreciative crowd dancing on the dance floor to Rum Ham. And I think it was just celebrating Marcus's magnificent moustache, to be honest.
Nothing to do with the Santa hat, no.
I don't know, it's the moustache. If you ever, you mind the Sparks?
Oh yeah.
And the sort of creepy piano player,
Yeah.
keyboard. That's Marcus's moustache. Right?
A life of its own. So. I think I must have missed the end of the Wayward gig because I headed down to the Ola to catch you guys.
Oh, it's the same night,
It was brilliant in there. It was absolutely jam-packed. And it was so much fun. So.
Yeah, there's another band playing that night as well. I think there's about 3 gigs.
Yeah,
in this, but I think every venue did well,
busy,
if I remember right. Yeah, we seemed to the crowd the whole night.
Yeah, it was good.
And even at fusion time, because I think that's around about when I got there, and it was still busy then and full of folk then, so it was good.
It seemed to be quite a drunk crowd. I got there to see you guys after, well, I had to leave before the end of Wayward to catch some of you guys.
Yeah.
I noticed it was considerably drunker than the rest of the crowd, so I'm not sure. It's common practice.
I don't know whether we sort of instill that in people, I'm not sure. But we weren't drunk, but we were sort of having a few drinks ourselves that night. We got a lot of drink bought for us, if I remember right. Which is always good. Yeah.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
How drunk's too drunk when you're playing?
In terms of pints, or in terms of... Yeah, well, you've got to have a few drinks before you go on, I think, really. That's we've always done that. And but being a vocalist, I've really got to be a bit responsible, because it's the vocalists that start going first. It's funny, you can get away with guitar playing to a fairly drunk stage, but when you're singing, it's very noticeable. Yeah. So for me, it's maybe sort of 3 pints and a couple of nips, something like that. Yeah.
For you, it's similar, maybe, but it's a bit different. I've got to keep a bit less because playing the bass is a bit more important.
I'm sure there's many that would agree. Bassists in Orkney unite.
Exactly.
Okay, well, now we'll have a track from the Bigsy Whalps, who are in the studio tonight, and it's called One Man Down, and then we'll have a word with them afterwards.
Take it from me, I'm on your side. Life's only lonely when you hide. Slipping away, but you could try. Living the dream when he's not around. You're a one man down. You're a one man down. The night comes alive when they've all gone. Try to get high, but it takes so long. You could be right, but you're so wrong. Living a dream when he's not around. You're a one man down. You're a one man down. Open wide, you can't hide if you stay inside. Slipping away, but you could try. Living the dream when he's not around. You're a one man down. You're a one man down. Ooh, living the dream when he's not around. You're one man down. One man down.
So obviously we were speaking to you a little minute just before the track there about how you first started and you were playing in the St Magnus Hall. What was the very first bands that you were in?
Yeah, well, it was that band was the Decibels were known as in those days, and nickname was the Jezebels, and that would last a couple of years with Johnny Fowles playing with us and Spooty Rendell. They all went, well, Spooty went to college and Johnny moved on to bigger bands.
That's right, but we were for a wee while in Sam Murray, that was...
One gig only.
One gig only,
yeah.
that was with Johnny.
That was with Johnny and the drums, yeah. And then a guy called Mick Jones, not from the Clash, but another Mick Jones, joined us, and we were called Slow Motion for a while, and we did a lot of our own stuff then. Mick wrote a lot of stuff, and it was actually quite good looking back on it, but it was a three-piece, and actually he brought me and Mitch on, actually, to be perfectly honest. He was more motivated, so we kind of honed our music style a bit, and that all broke up. I can't remember exactly what happened, and then I think you ran into Plum in the pub one night.
That's right. And Alan Garrick, of course.
Yeah.
Both in formed, then Rock the Tribe, then.
Of course.
But there's Aileen, of course, had to come in if it was by Alan Reid didn't want
to do it
without
her, yeah.
Aileen Walk, then. So that sort of formed Rock the Tribe then.
And Parrot didn't last long with that.
That's right.
He just struggled a bit with that setup, and so Plum was pretty pally with Coop. So Coop came in, and that was Rock the Tribe, as people remember it. We did that for a good 3 or 4 years, and
that was the favourites of country dances, was it?
Yeah, we were pretty successful. We were never the main band. There was always your other the
warm up.
Well, no, we were always the sort of underground. There was like Philip Anderson and the Pieces and so on. We're always in the most popular band, but we always would do some of the big gigs and all that, and it was quite good. We spent a year rehearsing. I remember, I look back on that now, it just seems ridiculous and what we're thinking of. So we're reasonably good when we started. We were pretty well rehearsed. We did that for a while, and eventually I think Coop got fed up and left us. With a time out, and then you met Mary, did you know then?
Well, that's the next thing. Yeah, that's starting out driving lessons, and I decided we could form a band because she played the bass and sang. So I had us again, then Mary and the Tribe. That was kept the Tribe thing going.
Is that Mary Cromarty?
Yeah,
that's right.
That was right enough.
That was very good. Yeah,
and that was with great times.
Yeah,
with Mary, a lot of Sooth rallies and so on, and Mary had a good stage presence. It really did work.
And it's great to have females in bands as well. Certainly, the female bassists seem to be quite a thing. Don't they?
That's a lot of interest. Right?
Yeah.
Just left the speakers as well.
She was one of the boys, really.
I know.
And then she had to go to uni, was it, or college or something, and with a year maybe where Amy Ellis came in. She used to sing with Coop and that ones.
Yeah, she was in my year at school.
Was she?
Yeah.
And she was a very good singer too. And that's when Ian came in, because she couldn't. Well, I'd had to play bass, but she couldn't play the bass, and Ian said he'd teach her. Of course, it never happened. But then Ian quite enjoyed the playing with us, so Amy eventually left. I can't remember why she ended up leaving, but she moved on. And then it was just, we thought we'd lose the Rock the Tribe, which is called a Tribe.
But he was going to just sort of been in there for a few months until she learned the bass.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Brilliant. So that's evolution, is it?
Yeah.
And now obviously you've started up the Bigsy Whalps. So what came around? How did that come about?
Well, without sort of boring you with too much detail, me and Mitch have been doing a bit of acoustic work on just as a duo for the last 6 or 7 years, and we've been sort of rehearsing in each other's houses. So James sort of grew up listening to us belting out this old stuff.
James is your son?
My son, James, yeah.
He plays the drums.
He had a drum kit for he was a young boy, so he started, of course, just joining in naturally with us, and it got to the stage where he wanted to be there, or when's the practice going to be, Dad, and so on, when's Mitch coming by, and so he'd start rocking at the drums. So we'd give him a sort of half an hour of playing drums along with us and so on, and that naturally progressed. Well, actually, Dylan Pepper helped James get through his higher music.
Of course.
And Dylan showed him a few. Well, Mitch is obviously a very good drummer as well, but Dylan's an excellent teacher.
Yeah.
And he just took James on to that next level. And then the Bigsy Whalps then came about because we thought, well, James could do this. And we started a 3-piece, and most of the original songs were actually James's. idea. Yeah, he's got a good ear for music.
And from that, you'd recruited Cameron Dowell as well, who's also been known for doing various pantos and things, and he's does his own swing, and he did cabaret or something as well, you know? So, yeah.
Actually, yeah, and well, it was the Jutland...
That's right, yeah, the commemorations.
Yeah, that's when he really
that.
came to the fore, and but he's a good pal of James's, so that's how he kind of tagged along. We're actually playing in Hawaii one night, and James kind of took me pal Cameron along, and I thought, oh God, there's another guy to take along, how is this going to work? But I thought, take him out, and
you can lug things around
well,
the front.
yeah, that's it, and people realise, hang on, this is the guy that did Lonely Scapa Flow live on the TV, so people of course asked him, can you do this? So I went through with Cameron, we're playing in the Anchor Bar there at Lioness, in the back room, and I quickly worked out roughly the chords, not much to Lonely Scapa Flow, and we just went and performed it, just me and him. And of course everybody loved it, 'cause everybody was drunk as well, but Cameron did a really good job, and then we thought, like, let's just put drums and bass to this, and so Cameron just kind of then started tatting on more and more songs, and he's got a fantastic voice, really. Yeah, so we're really chuffed to have him.
So obviously you've been working a lot with the younger generation now. What is it with, how are you enjoying that?
Yeah, it's great. I'm not going to say like keeps us young, but I mean it does. We've learned a lot of songs that we'd never have dreamed of learning. You can like Castle on the Hill, for instance, Ed Sheeran, which initially I thought, oh God, but actually it's a fantastic song to play, and the audience love it, and if the audience love it, then we love it.
But that's what gets folk up and moving, isn't it?
So that's just an example. There's loads of other stuff that Cameron's taken, and James as well. Like he picked out a lot of newer stuff, and like older classics, which is surprising. Like Whiskey Rock and Roller would do an old Leonard Skinner song, which I'd be honest, I'd never even heard of the song before. And James said, let's do this, Dad, and that sounds quite good, and we've learned it. And so he's got his finger on the pulse that way. Yeah.
So what do you see the Bigsy Whalps doing in the future? Do you have any projects or anything coming up?
Yeah, well, we took this single out that you've just heard, and I've got a lot of ideas for an album. If I can get the guys sort of settled into working out all their parts, we're going to try and get that done. It's supposed to be spring, but I can see it probably dragging on a bit. But that's what idea. I've got a lot of what I think are going to be good songs, but we'll see what people think. I'm going to try and get Cameron to sing most of them. And we've already got, never mentioned, we've got Jimmy Anderson.
I think I did see him on stage with you at one point at the Sands
well,
gig.
that was his first gig with us, and he just did that with us, and we've had him at a jam, and Jamie's a brilliant guitar player.
Really good. He's just back for a 3-month stint in America as well, as you know, for playing for various things.
Yeah, and he's heading out there again, so we're going to try and make as much use of him as we can
before he goes.
I know he's playing with the Usual Suspects as well, so he's got a few commitments there, but I'm hoping to get him. We've got a live lounge thing with Radio Orkney in February, so the reason we got ahead of him was to do the second guitar part, because most of the songs I've been writing have got 2 guitar parts in them. So it's fine for recording, but absolutely hopeless for live. People say, play that new song, and you can't really do it. So Jimmy's the guy for that.
And how do you find the writing process? Do you all sit down together, or is it just one or two of you that do it? Or?
Roger does it all.
Well, it's just, I'm bored with it, but I just sit down with acoustic guitar quite a lot. And if there's nobody in the house, I'll sit down and if a riff, it usually starts with a riff, and then I might just sort of sing some rubbish over the top of it to get an idea how the song would go. And what I'll do then is I've got me copycat pedal. I can't mind the proper name for it. And I'll record me vamping with the guitar, and I'll get the lead guitar out, and I'll try and put a layer on the top, and that's I put that to the band then, to the rest of them, and they listen to it and they say, rubbish or okay.
Yeah.
And that's a very recent thing, doing this. I've only done this for the last year and a half. And it seems to be working okay. That EP we took out, just the 3 of us, with all around stuff as well, done that way.
it's a bit different, doing your own bass line to a song. When I normally just listen to it, I don't read music or anything.
Right.
I just listen to what they do, and then having to sort of learn your own thing, it's a totally new thing for me. But it has
You
been
do it
working
well,
quite
yeah. I
good.
mean, that song's
Quite
we
happy
did,
with
it's
it,
all your
yeah.
own stuff.
So what is your favourite track of your own that you play?
Well, I think the one was just Neuk, One Man Down, is, and a close second is off the EP is Roses Cut Deep, it's called, and if you've listened to that, it's probably it's the last track on the EP, and it's kind of probably the quietest of the lot. We're pretty chuffed with that one. We're hoping to do that in the live lounge. Yeah.
And Scott will be helping you with that, I would think. So.
Of course, yeah.
So, just finally, before we sort of finish up with this part of the interview, I was going to ask, where did the name Bigsy Whalps come from? It's a bit of a different name, isn't it? Is it Whalps or Whalps?
It is Whalps,
Whalps,
yeah.
Just George Rendell, yeah, he mentioned it just when we were actually playing, me and Roger, in the Orkney Club, yeah. He said he was going to be calling himself his band name.
Yeah.
And he said it never happened, so we thought that would be a really good name to have. So we asked him if we could have it. He said yes, so that's how that happened.
And do you know the meaning behind it? It's obviously old Arcadian words, is it?
It
now?
is, yeah, it's surprising what I fucking don't know what it means, but Whalps is a name that a lot of people don't know. You can, but Bigsy, I think most folk know you're fully your own self-importance. Arrogant, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Whalp is basically
cheeky
like
petty brat.
Cheeky petty brat, exactly.
Yeah,
It's a fly in your lug. It's just a menace. You can. So a Bigsy Whalp's not really a very good description of it for anybody, but we just thought it'd work pretty
It's a
well.
pretty good name. I enjoy it. Yeah. It's good fun as well. Isn't it? You need a bit of good fun around. So.
People think you don't take yourself too seriously with a name like that, so they're not expecting too much.
That's good. Thank you very much. Well,
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. Well, we'll go back to the festive activities, and Claire caught up with Acoustic Mother after their gig in the Motorhouse.
right, so I'm here backstage in the old Motorhouse with Acoustic Mother.
In the toilet.
In the toilet, otherwise classed as. So, you've just finished your gig for tonight. Is this your third gig this season?
Second.
Second. How do you think it went?
It went pretty well, I think, yeah. I was quite busy.
Yeah.
And we didn't depress too many people, I don't think.
It's been quite a mellow night, hasn't it?
Very mellow, yeah.
And you had support from the drones earlier as well. How do you think that went?
Good, yeah.
I think they were really, really talented young people. And with the addition of a couple of musicians, maybe a bassist, maybe another guitarist to let Edie flourish, they would be fantastic.
Yeah, I was quite excited. They played the long gigs. I haven't heard anybody play that for nearly 20 years.
I don't think anybody's played that.
It's fantastic. I loved them. I loved them 20 years ago. So, the whole idea of Acoustic Mother, how did that come about?
Well, I think it was because Bob's in Australia and Stephen's had a baby and he can't be.
And it's his birthday today as well, yeah.
Happy birthday, Stephen!
Happy birthday!
You can't.
So it's just thriving to do something different, that's all.
So, out of the couple of gigs that you've done, what's been the favourite track that you've played out of it?
Sorry, buddy.
I don't know, to be honest. The Queens of the Stone Age one, Make It With You was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
It was a bit more up tempo.
Oh, yeah.
It was good. It was
kind of needed.
Yeah, it was just a liven folk up.
I like most of the songs. Creep by Stone Temple Pilots is probably one of my favourite songs ever, and to be able to sing it with the boys behind me, and that's been pretty good, yeah.
I like playing Rooster by Alice in Chains.
It is a good track.
Yeah.
I do like Alice.
Fraser, I just noticed you're getting white hair that's the front of your head.
Very distinguished.
Yeah.
It's better than the bit on the side of my head. At least you got it in a cool place.
Sorry.
Callum obviously has the cold tonight as well, so his singing's been a bit nasal at times.
Yeah, it's been pretty fucking. Especially Nirvana, but I don't know whether that's a bad thing for Nirvana.
No, it's fine.
He's pretty nasal. Well, he was pretty nasal. I did notice that most of the songs that we played by people that are probably dead now.
Yeah.
Either suicide or
It's a
drugs.
cheery
or,
thought to add to
So
it.
yeah, it's just a festive.
Merry Christmas kind of feel the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. So, what would be your inspirations? Obviously, you've mentioned Nirvana there, a bit of Stone Temple Pilots. Is it all mainly grunge, or is there a bit of other stuff in it
Basically, I would say the main inspiration for that whole thing is MTV Unplugged.
and Dead Folk.
And dead people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we take a lot of the MTV Unplugged stuff. Generally, is always pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good for an acoustic set.
Yeah, so to try and emulate it, it's hard, but we tried to do what we could do.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So, what advice do you have for anybody else that's thinking about just doing like either the jam session, like kind of what this is, I suppose, or starting up in a band, or?
Don't be afraid to take anybody and everybody in. If you've got people that you know that can play instruments, get them in, get them involved. Like we were obviously struggling this year because we didn't have a full band, but we've got fucking excellent musicians like Billy and Will to come in, and it slots in fine. You know, you can have a laugh with new people.
Yeah, it's worked in quite well. The Billy that they're speaking about is Billy Brown, who's formerly in what bands were you in?
I was in Those Boys and Cosmic Soup and in Wayward for
AC/DC,
a couple of gigs as well. So. Yeah, and this a few of them as well. Just kind of start with them off.
Yeah, and also Will Scott, who sadly isn't in the interview but plays in just about every other band in Orkney. So.
Slut.
Yeah.
He ran away to go and play in the Rumham gig tonight. So yeah.
He's one of the most hard-working creatures in Arcadian music, I would say.
Yeah. He was Mr. Orkney Rock Festival this year, I think, definitely. Just played in just about everything. So since this is a bit of this is the festive time, we're just going to ask you a couple of little festive questions. So if you could be a pantomime character, what pantomime character would you be?
Jafar.
Jafar, why?
Because I hate every cunt.
Cinderella.
Why? Because you keep losing your slippers?
I don't really have a reason for that. I think that's the only pantomime character I know.
I think I'd go for someone like Quasimodo or something like that because I've got the looks to pull it off.
That's surely not true.
And the shoulder.
Yeah, the great face for radio.
Gammy shoulder.
So and another one would be Uppies or Doonies, or from Strumness, north or south.
I'm a Southender and I think I'm a Dooney.
Right.
Dooney, I'd say, but for Wesley, so
not really caring. No.
I'm a brain like don't give a fuck.
I think Retson's got a couple of questions for you here.
Right, there's a Callum, boy. What annoys you when you're gigging, boy? It seems to be very little, like it's like
nothing really annoys
people
me.
not getting involved, I think, would be the main thing, like.
What really annoys me is if you're playing a gig and people are just standing. Different tonight because it was an acoustic gig, but an electric gig or whatever. If people are just standing and they're standing away from the stage, I think that's my main thing. Away from the stage is my big bugbear because you want people close to you, you want people to react to you, you want people to see and be involved, and kind of, you know, it gives you a boost and you can react to them as well. So yeah, I would say people being too far away from the stage.
Being able to see the whites of their eyes.
Oh yeah.
Another one, like it's not very well known, but Callum also plays acoustic guitar. Like, what's the song you used to play on the acoustic guitar at parties when you were like 16?
I would say Fisherman's Blues maybe would be the song that I used to play, because it's fucking easy, and it's a song that's quite close to my heart.
No, I'm thinking, how the fuck did you remember that?
No, it was a song that was quite close to my heart, so yeah, I used to play that quite a lot. It was a song that reminded me of my old man, so yeah, and it was easy.
I never knew you could play the guitar though either. I take it that's a
not very well. Not very well.
Well,
enough for a party.
Yeah.
When
that's all you need.
everybody's pissed.
Right, what's happening for Electric Mother next year?
Well, I'm going to go forward and say that, well, hopefully at some point have a new CD out.
I thought you were going to say a new singer.
No. Get a new guitarist for a new singer.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna go and we're gonna record a studio and
we're gonna headline the Orkney Rock Festival.
Hopefully, both times.
Well, Christian said we were already.
Oh, Christian said it.
He's already given me a backhand.
Even after I fucked up this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Is there any more projects in the pipeline for the Acoustic Mother set, or?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I like Billy. I've just.
Billy, do you like him?
Thank you. Yeah, it's.
We're just
very musical.
Yeah.
Just new, yeah. We never met actually.
We just met. We seem to get on. He likes hammering folk.
Like spending time in the
toilet. I wouldn't be adverse to playing some more acoustic kind of stuff if it was ever in the pipeline. And I wouldn't be adverse to having another guitarist in the band at some point if it was needed.
Oh yeah. We're gonna like a 3-guitar Linux kind of thing, like.
We could have as many guitars as you fucking. Well, if you look at the Foo Fighters, they've got 3 guitarists and a piano player and a drummer. I mean, like, there's a big band. We can see how we could develop.
Yeah. So right, there's questions that we ask all the bands over the podcast that we've been doing over the festive season. Is it, do you like Bad Apple the best or Bad Dub No Biscuit the best? Bandy first.
For me, Bad Apple.
Why?
Just better band, more bluesy.
Callum?
Bad Apple.
Any particular reason?
Leah's got boobs.
Billy?
Yeah, I think it'll be Bad Apple for me as well. A bit more of a blues kind of feel.
Yeah.
That's unanimous, like, there you go.
Since we're off to go and see Rum Ham in a minute, do you like rum and ginger beer or rum and coke?
I think it would be rum and ginger beer for me.
The dark and stormy, so that's no.
No rum.
No rum.
Never tried rum and ginger beer, so go for it.
Yeah,
try that.
Yeah, that'll be something to do tonight.
Yeah, listen to Roger and Mitch. They're obviously, speaking about over the years how the music scene changes and progresses. Personally, I think when I started going to the pubs and listening to live music, I can't ever mind hearing an original track. It was all cover.
Yeah.
And
it was when we were younger.
Yeah, I think it was a kind of brave step for folk to take to start playing their own tracks.
When I was maybe a bit different because I hung around with some of the music crowds. So there was folk like Chris Drever and Callum Carlisle who formed bands called the Lapels, and there was the Psychic Vandals, and there was the Tom and Dave Trio and everything, and they all did set up their own gigs in the Arts Theatre in the Phoenix at the time. So that some of them were writing their own music, but then, like you say, there was the country dance bands, there was Red Alert and Yourselves, and
purely covers, yeah.
Yeah, but it was, and then the sort of writing their own music died out for a while in Orkney, but it seems to be coming back to the fore again.
It is coming back. I mean, having said that, you can play in live. It's a bit of a thought to play your own stuff. I mean, keep getting told to play your own stuff, but you think, well, do you really want to hear that? You can.
It's for us wanting to play something wild, Ken.
Yeah, exactly. But we do slip in the odd song now and again. We tend to just slip them in, and hopefully it just goes so you can unnotice. But but the rest, definitely more people now trying it, I think.
Yeah.
But I think maybe a bit more to do with the fact that you can upload into Spotify and so on. Like in the old days, recording was a huge thing to do. You had to go to like Ontaries or something like that. Yeah, and it was a huge undertaking. Whereas nowadays, I mean, it's still, but you've still got to go through the hassle of recording yourself, but the equipment's more readily available. You can set up in your bedroom.
Yeah, basically. Where we are now. Scott's home studio.
And it sounds really professional, I think, as well. You're hearing,
Yeah.
bands that are recording bits in their bedroom, like you said, and
It's
you
just
can
studio quality. You can.
There's number one singles coming out just now that are recorded in people's bedrooms. Like it's
and produced and sent over YouTube, and that's how they've become.
Probably
famous.
never left their house, and they're millionaires.
Is that not how Sandy Tom with the song that she did? It was about 10 years ago or something. Mind the track. Flowers in my hair. Wish I was a punk rocker.
Yeah, with flowers in my hair.
Yes, that was it. I think she wrote and produced that and did it all in her room, and then did it on YouTube, and then it became famous from there. So, and that was, like I say, about 10 years ago or something. So it's probably not a lot's changed in the last 10 years. It's probably easier to do it now, and it's easier to be recognised, I suppose, than it was then.
The equipment's cheaper.
Yeah,
it just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper, and it's getting better and better.
Sorry.
No, I was saying about, playing original music. You get bands like Rumham. They're their gimmick is they don't really care if folk like their music. They're just going to play it and keep playing it. So each time you go to their gig, you learn the songs. And it's the same as like Electric Mother now. Because they're playing so many gigs and every Saturday night, they'll just slip in a cover here and there just to
so the way around, exactly. Yeah,
and folk just get the kind of songs.
People know. Once you get the kind of song, you expect it, and it's just a case of just exposing the crowd to your own music. But your music's got to be good enough too. That's the thing. But I mean, I've heard Electric Mother stuff, and it's really good. It's people are churning out some good stuff now.
There seems to be a knack as well of writing something that's it's got a bit of an earworm about it, something that you think you might have heard already.
Yeah.
And then, it just gets stuck in your head and grows for there. So there seems to be a knack to that, I think.
Like that Forgotten Sons one.
Earwormery. It's completely earwormery.
I don't know that one.
Forgotten Sons, is it Leave the Light On? They do, it's a brilliant track. And some of the other Shetland bands, the Dirty Lemons, they do similar. Human Barbie, it's another one that sounds very...
I was listening to that the other day.
Sounds very much like something you've heard before.
Yeah.
But it's completely original, so I think there's that hook that you've got, and then just carry it on for there. It grabs folk.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with any sort of genre. I mean, you think about... Orkney was biggest for its folk music and such like. You came back in the 60s and 70s. But even then, it was a lot of covers. Mm-hmm. There wasn't that many original, but now you've got the Chair and the Saltfish 40 and
the Wrigley Sisters.
Yeah, all doing the original stuff. There's a lot of original music coming out of everywhere.
Yeah.
Every genre.
You got the Reel there as well, providing the platform for them.
They do a fantastic thing there, I think. So certainly with their sessions that they do, isn't it?
It seems to be very popular with tourists as well. It brings the tourists in. Yeah. Well, having to say, we found it last summer playing in the pubs. It's probably the most tourists we've ever actually seen coming in and enjoying the music and all. And they don't probably come here for the music, and then they're actually quite shocked at the music scene that's going on here. And they're maybe expecting folk, and they get a bit of folk, but then they go in the pubs in the front and it's all rock music.
But even at the Rock Festival, on the Sunday, there was a cruise ship in, and it was actually a rock cruise.
It was, yeah.
Who all was on that rock cruise at the time? I can't remember. It was the Trogs, wasn't it?
The Trogs.
And Susie Quattro.
Susie Quattro, that's so
and we had a lot of folk coming in to the pub gigs that we had on the Sunday saying that we were on the cruise, and they were absolutely loving the gigs that were on. They weren't expecting it.
So that just clashed with the festival?
Yeah, it wasn't planned at all. We might have to write to them and get it planned for this year.
Yeah.
But it just worked really well, and they were buying T-shirts and asking about bands and things, so they all went away and were spreading the word about what was going on here, so it was really good. So.
My favourite story about that was the first rock festival we put on. It's been 4 years ago now, and we bumped into these guys in the pub about 9 o'clock at night. They'd kind of gotten over their shock, but they'd realised they'd missed the boat, missed the liner. They'd gone for a pint. No bothered about the tour of the Standing Stones or Scarabray. Let's just go for a pint. There was this festival going on, so they had a few more pints. The liner left without them.
They'd been looking for them as well, from what I remember. But yeah, when we had them in the motor house, was it no at the time? I can't even mind who was.
By that time, they thought, oh,
but they just loved it. They thought it was a brilliant
might as well
weekend.
just carry on and sorted out them on.
So you guys were responsible for
Yeah, missing tourists.
What about the people that play in the rock bands in Orkney? I always find that if I go and see a band, the same people are usually...
It does seem to be very much at the moment. I mean, you were saying about Jamie Anderson there playing with you, and he plays with the Usual Suspects. He played in Drumham as well for a while, didn't he?
Played with the Andy Taylor group on the bass for a while.
Right. Yeah. So, and then we've got the festival committee's Will Scott, who seems to play in just about every band. In fact, I think you can probably hear him in nearly every interview that we've got.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because he played in Acoustic Mother, he played in Drumham.
Yeah, it's a flavour on nowadays that you didn't get in the old days. A band was like a marriage in the old days, and it was like severe fallout seeking if people hadn't played another band. Yeah, whereas now it's a bit more acceptable and people see it as...
Well, we'd have broken up a lot of marriages.
Do you think that means that we need more musicians in Orkney, or are they just a very concentrated talent?
Well, there you go, that's a good question. I'm not sure about that. If we need more musicians, I think we're actually pretty good for musicians.
We are, yeah, we're quite a good level of folk, and a different. Well, the people that can play in all the bands seem to play a lot of different genres as well. It's not just one thing that they'll stick into, which is good. So.
Yeah, you've got like say the blues that Andy Taylor's putting out there, and like well that's Jamie was also with him playing bass, and he's the Usual Suspects was pretty much a cover band.
And Pandy himself, he plays in Rocker, which is AC/DC, and then he's got his own blues band, and he plays in Electric Mother as well, which is obviously the metal side of things. So yeah, it's quite diverse.
I guess it's guys that just want to be involved in it, the whole, just immersing themselves in it. My son James now, it's really he's sat and play with the Cartel now.
Of course, because Dylan's
away. So he's practicing with them now. And he'll have a busy year if that all goes.
I think so, yeah. A lot of weddings and things booked already, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. They're one of the most popular.
How old's your son?
James is 19.
19, yeah. So is there a lot of people his age coming through as well, do you think?
Well, Cameron's the obvious one. Same age there. I'm trying to think of other guys. Well, Tom, that's Neil Gordon's son's pretty good in the drums. I don't know if he's actually playing any bands right now, but he's away south, of course. But I'm trying to think of other ones. There's no many other ones that age.
Did have the boys that were in Hybrid Constellation, which was Taylor Perry and Aidan, obviously went on to form Nos, and Ross Clark, who's gone on to be Black King Cobra and In Stations down in Glasgow.
Yeah.
But they're all away from Orkney at the moment, so this is a lot, like you said earlier, a lot of folk go away and they don't always necessarily come back, which is a bit of a shame, but you've got to keep breeding new things, I think, don't you? So.
But they often go away and come back with a lot of experience. And
when they do come,
obviously, like so Brian Cromarty and Marion all did that.
That's
as well.
right.
They got away and came back. I mean, they were good when they left, and they were just that much better.
Exactly, and Mari's teaching, of course, there now, and Brian is, I think, just a bit of tuition and all as well. He can it's helping to produce more. And Douglas has obviously helped a hell of a lot.
Yeah, he's inspired a lot of folk.
You can doing the folk route. You can.
Hadragan, is it? Hadragan?
Hadragan, yeah.
Is that still Gan?
I'm not sure actually.
You never hear that nowadays. No.
Certainly very vibrant just now. But like you say, it's similar ones playing live, playing in all the bands, similar band members. But what always gets me is you'll go to a party and somebody you've kent for years and years will pick up a guitar and
I know.
You can play.
It's shocking.
Why are you not doing that?
There's loads of these characters. We call them bedroom heroes, which is maybe a bit of a sort of cheeky way of labelling these guys, which is people who've never actually maybe had the nerve to play, or maybe had an opportunity. You can, because it's I mean, a lot of talent out there. It's playing a band's a different thing. I often say it's one thing to play, but then actually to play with other people, it's not that difficult. But it's a different thing again.
Yeah, getting up in front of folk, and particularly drunk folk, I think, as well.
Yeah, but just actually playing along with other people, you've got to give and take to keep the song, you can keep the speed right and so on. It's not that easy sort of thing. You can, whilst you're sitting at home playing a guitar, it's just your own speed sort of thing. I'm not trying to knock that, but it's just it's a slight different thing. Playing with you'll kind of, so you're playing with a band is slightly different.
It's taking that jump from one to the other.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dee, Roger and Mitch, for coming along and speaking about your experiences in the music industry. Speaking of diversity there, we've got quite a diverse mix of music coming up this weekend. Making Noise Against Suicide gig. I hear there's pretty big acts coming from London. Is that right?
There's quite a mixture. There's local acts and there's Nice Flow and Jet Play both coming up from London. The gig itself's been organised by Theo Away-Me, who is one of the teachers at the grammar school. And I think the Making Noise Against Suicide is quite an important thing. So we've got quite a good interview here. So we'll just cut to that.
This Saturday, January 20th, we'll see a very special event take place in Carkwell. Making Noise Against Suicide will bring together a bunch of bands to raise awareness of suicide and mental health problems. I've got Theo Away-Me here, and he is one of the organisers of this event. Can you tell me about it, Theo?
You see, the idea for the event in itself came from a few of my ex-pupils, Anna Mackay especially. I got a message from her where she was talking about the rate of suicide on the island, and if there were things we could do, as members of the community, to see, if we can be able to sort of change the trajectory. It's kind of upward just now to see how, and we thought about providing an avenue in itself that would bring people of different ways of thinking together. An avenue in itself, that would sort of expose people, an avenue that would be accessible to all, and music in itself is an opportunity for people, irrespective of the genre. That's when you see the lineup. It's different genres of music, so it's just bringing everyone together, to a closed venue, matchmakers in this case, and sharing the field and making one and all know the fact that it's just going to take a little for us to sort of help someone or help everyone.
Yeah. So has it just been yourself and Anna that have been involved in the organisation?
Yes. It's and we've got Jack Sidofin, who is down in London, and I've got Louis Wright, who's around just now. It's just, and there are other folks, Scott himself, Christian, and guys are just, and that's what's good about this community, individuals and groups, sort of coming together. And like I would always say, the reputation of Orkney that Orkney enjoys nationally and internationally, I think, is as a result of community cohesion, the members of the community coming together to sort of join to shine the spotlight on those issues that that affect us. And for us, one of the ways we can really kick out this mental health stigma is to sort of continue to talk about it. But it's not talking about it alone, but it's how we talk about it, is the words we use. Come to think of it, if we mount the horse of memory, we take some gallops down memory lane. The big C, cancer. Folks were not really, folks were not talking about cancer. But it was not until when we started talking about it, that we could see progress in terms of helping sufferers. So the music in itself would take folks out of isolation, because like I would always say, and like we know, isolation is in itself the precursor for depression and suicide. So if you take folks, you bring folks out, folks would then realize the fact that, hey, it is really, really, really easy, for us to seek help. So music in itself urges people to seek help. And, to think of the musicians coming as well, they have had experiences, you know, of depression, of wanting to complete suicide. Nice Flow, for example, you know, he had, you know, his dad was sort of murdered in front of him when he was 15 or 16, and he contemplated, completing suicide. He contemplated that, and then when I rang him up, you know, these are not small musicians. You know, when I rang him up in London, he did tell me how much it would cost, you know, to get him up here. But when I mentioned, you know, the course, you know, what he was coming to do, rightly so, he decided to even buy his own plane ticket, and you know, which will, you know, they will be reimbursed. You know, he will be reimbursed when he, you know, after the show. But yes.
On that note, who have you got playing? What have you put together in terms of a lineup?
For a lineup, we have, like I said earlier on, it's the genre in itself. We've kind of mixed, you know, mixed types, kinds of music, mixed genre. We've got Ray O'Neill, who's playing a personal. Raymond O'Neill is playing a set, and then we've got the band Acoustic Mother. They are tight as with the usual suspects. Sick, Electric Mother as well, and then we've got Nice Flow and Jet Play coming all the way from London, you know, bringing Afro vibes.
So that's the special guests for this.
Yes, kind of. To you know, Nice Flow is someone that has a history with the island, because, you know, I think 5-6 years ago, and then 3 years ago. So he's been here twice already. So now that he's successful, you know, I really think, you know, it's a great idea to sort of bring him up here. And we've got Jet Play as well. Who, you know, these guys are recorded artists, and you know, I'm looking forward to the 20th. You know, it's just pretty much, like I said earlier on, you know, it's just making noise and making, you know, so that those who need help, they realize the fact that, you know, there are people out there, you know, ready to. What, you know, another idea, you know, what we were really thinking about as well is personalization. We know we've got help, you know, there is help available, but we were thinking of, you know, personalized help, you know, that help that would be personalized to, you know, for how would I put this, the you know, for inhabitants of the island. So if we're talking about you know, suicide hotline, for example, you know, we'll be thinking of recruiting, you know, lay counselors, you know, it's getting funding to sort of train these counselors, because I really think local folks who want to call a local number, you know, than I know there are local groups and organizations, you know, working towards preventing suicide. You know, we know that, but you see, we really think you cannot be accused of doing too much. And what it is, you know, it's the way we don't want to talk about certain things because of but we have to, you know, because it is live. It is what's happening, and it is clear that, you know, these folks pretty much, you know, would need a hand, you know, something to hold on to, so as not to fall, you know, over the brink, you know, so as not to fall over the edge. So, you know, there could be those things we should be looking out for. Are we looking out for those things? Have we become really complacent, you know, thinking, oh, there's a national organization, oh, there's a local organization responsible for that. But you see, the reason for this, you know, generates from that you know, that humane side of us. You know, there's something that sort of links us together, and that's humanity. For some of us, we are very resilient, you know, because of maybe support or whatnot. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, not all fingers are equal. You know, not everyone is that strong. I was off work for 4 months, you know, for health reasons, bordering around depression, you know. So what it is that I'm African, you know, but I'm not in that, you know, in that setting no more, you know. I mean, I'm not in that public. So the support system that was there is no longer there. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I've not got support system here. You know, there are, you know, folks who care. And, you know, I got that experience first hand because I, you know, made the move. you know. Yeah.
So, like for many people in Orkney, this is a personal issue for you.
Oh yes, it's a personal issue for me. You know, for most of us, you know, directly or indirectly, it's what it is. You know, we have an experience of someone who we know. You know, one way or the other, family. You know, it could be friend. You know, it could be just the guy you see on the street or the guy you serve. The shop, you know, this sort of brings to bear one of the reasons why Anna decided to sort of float this idea, because I remember her saying, "Oh, this was the guy I served when I was working at Tesco," and because it's a small community, you sort of know these people, and that in itself accentuates the need, you know, for us to sort of do this, and that's why I decided to be a clapping hand in a crowd in terms of bringing this to fruition and making this a reality.
So it sounds absolutely great. It's for a great cause to raise awareness of those issues. Just finally, can you give me where, when, and who this gig is open to?
Yes, the gig is scheduled for this coming Saturday, which is January the 20th of January, and it's at the venue formerly known as Matchmakers. You know, I think it's the Neuk or what it's called now. And the doors will open at 7:30 p.m. and it is absolutely free of charge, because in terms of the age group, I think we're looking at 18 plus, because it's an alcohol serving venue. You know, but we were thinking of getting wristbands anyway, for, you know, to sort of let the people behind the bar know who they should serve alcohol to. But, you know, we've sort of thought deep about this, and it's going to be 18 plus. You know, you might then want to ask, hey, what of the young people? Are they not experiencing all of these problems as well? Oh yes, you know, this is just a start, you know, because we've got a catalogue of events, you know, lined up for 2018. So it's just using the music in itself as a foundation, as a base for sort of bringing us together, for sort of, you know, making people realize the fact that there are others there. And then, you know, there are other ways in which we're going to be raising awareness. You know, there is the Faces of Suicide educational posters, which will be looking at schools. There is the Island Suicide Hotline, like I was telling you, and you know, we've been looking at applying for funding to see how to actualize all of this. And then there is the T-shirt contest and fundraiser, because we'll be looking at schools where, you know, schools will then design T-shirts, and then the best design would be printed. And because we just really think posters and all of that, because you go around the island, there is really nothing sort of telling you, you know, in your face to say, okay, this is a problem, you know, we really need to. And if people suffering depression, you know, folks who with suicidal thoughts see all of this, you know, there is that sense of, whoa, you know, people are there for us. Wow, the community is there for us. Yeah. And I think you know, that is pretty much what we want.
So it's for a good cause. You've got great music, and it's absolutely free.
It's absolutely free. Tell me, can it be any better?
I don't think it can. So absolutely good luck with the gig, and we'll look forward to it.
Oh, thank you very much, and blessed love. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a pretty cracking gig that Theo's organised there, and a cause that's really close to heart to a lot of folk up here in Orkney. Just hope we can see you all there and have a good night, as well as supporting a good cause.
Yeah, it'd be great to see it getting a lot of support, which it deserves. So. And that brings us to the end of our second ever Orkney Live Wire podcast. Thank you very much to our roving reporters Andrew Stewart and Smid Perry for their interviews earlier, and we'll catch you all again next month. So that's cheerio from me.
Goodbye for Christian.
And that's a goodbye from me. We're going to play out with a track from the Andy Taylor Group CD, Loose Cannon. This is Southbound, and we should be available on hopefully most podcast apps on your phones now, iTunes, Acast, and you can get us on the YouTube channel and the SoundCloud channel. So until next month, see ya.
Where you put me down. find me in the lost and found. I got left drifting without a line. I know I won't be coming back this time. You won't see me in this town no more. We're dragging my heels while I walked out that door. I got left drifting without a line. No, I won't be coming back this time. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm going southbound. 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 You won't find me where you put me down. You will find me in the lost and found. I got left drifting without a line. No, I won't.